All right, hello, good morning, and welcome to another beautiful, educative, and exciting edition of the Comment Show live here on Twilight TV. We are on every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. We are currently located inside Medina. My name is Celeste Keys, and I do this all the way still with.
And I'm also Sadiqa Walker. Remember that the comment show it's live on www.twilightvonline.com. You can like our page on Facebook. It's at the comment show, and also on Instagram at the comment show, on Twitter it's at the comment show. On every Saturday morning we gather here and table before you the pertinent issues that make up your day, so we could get more and more insight about the very issues making up the headlines. All right, our week natural minerals are coming in. When they say one for life, we're gonna go for a quick commercial break. After this, I'll tell you more about our sponsors. Please stay.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of Awake purified drinking water, which comes in a unique designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake purified drinking water, one for life. For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
Alright, so thanks very much for joining us here on Twilight TV. It's the comment show today. We promise of a very educative show because we have an ace broadcast journalist in our midst today who's going to help us to delve much into the issues that's making up on the comment show. We left our question on a page within a week and we've got your reactions here. We're going to share with them on the show for you. But I guess Selassie will help us do the introduction of the guest.
Yes, as always, we promise an educative show, and today our guest is in here, and he's in the person of Mr. Amon Perry Ransford. He is a media practitioner. He's been in the media space for a very, very long time. He's worked with a couple of radio stations and TV stations as well. He's currently the manager of Easy FM. Uncle Ransford, hello.
Thank you very much.
You know I call you Uncle Ransford.
I do?
Yes.
Okay.
I call you Uncle Ransford. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, being a manager of another radio station demands a lot, you know. So quietly, I've been doing what I have to do. You know. I also produce the morning show on the at Easy FM. So basically, it's a lot of work. So pardon me, forgive me for for seeing me for quite a long time.
That's okay. That's okay. Yes, Uncle Ransford. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about a really, really, really serious topic that I'm really interested in. Everybody out there is interested in, which is the comprehensive sexuality education. It's all over the place. So we're going to be taking your view on that. But before that, we went on the street and we had a couple of reactions to this particular topic. So let's go on the street and get what people are actually saying on this topic.
Some people agree to the comprehensive sexuality education, but I don't agree to it because to me it doesn't make sense, but to someone it makes sense. And we are blacks, and you know how blacks behave sometimes. You teach them how to use condom, same sex, and at the end, I don't know, it's not good. I don't agree to it. I don't really agree to it. Okay, how will I feel when my little sister knows how to wait, how to have sex? No, to me, I don't agree to it at all. I don't agree to it. That is it.
I think the children are too young to be taught something like that. With their young minds, people who support gayism and those things, they can easily infiltrate and teach the children that it's normal to be gay and all those things, like what's happening in America right now and those other Western countries. So if they want to teach that thing, they should allow them to reach a stage where they are mature and they can make the right choice, instead of them to be young and they allow somebody to just come and manipulate them, and because someone feels like he's a girl, he will not go and seek proper attention. He will rather accept it, and his life will just be a mess.
Me de me ju hu say nye sanya ma na omudi aba system no ebe man kola ni bebiri asai enu ti na me so me ju hu say sa adwi no a me ka say enye ma ye mfa mba.
Okay, we 50 the one meeting certainly and I be me say Ghana ye Christian man na abosa man ade aso do go rom bo mo amu ya nyagopo si sa man no onu bi da muta fa ba Ghana ni nyina Ghana na nti me pomo achew ni ba de se du sa lesson na omo yi me ba out from classroom na o ma sa lesson ni cheni ba nti me pomo achew nti sa di no wi de mpagan for pe o chew omo yi fi Ghana kwara school kwara so se akwa na se kanti na akwa ndo kosi akwa sa di ntia ene nyagopo pregu na di ehia eni ma do ebedo ama ya didie nti sa di nu die mpawo Ghana for pe ba chewu mo mu fa che yemba enye obi na be kire akwa se ne fo ba onyia odakta be mu se ne fo ba nti ma se mu na nti se Ghana for fo sa di die mo mu fa che school kwada no omo ko che omo 1+1 and me actually school because I mean that's why school 1+1 and yeah that is for about school.
Yeah, I say CSE is not good for our society. The Islamic religion is against it, and then the Christianity also against it. So this country, this Ghana, we are against it totally. When I was young, you see, there are some things we don't have even mentioned the names, and I learned these things will be coming inside this curriculum, and it will be bad for this country. The generation coming will be very bad for them.
Sa na mure bane de emboa enkola no esante sa eni ho krampo no enkola na nkasa na o ma sei dada na mo be san dia ba be kire o mo classroom ni ade de enye ade e be boa e be ma o ma sei mo already na ya sei dada na mo san be kire sa ade we de enye fine think e be ya mo mo famba.
Alright, welcome back, and if you just joined us, it's still the comment show live here on Twilight TV, and today we are talking about comprehensive sexuality education, which is everywhere. We had it, and then a whole lot of stations, TV stations, radio stations talking about it, and then parents are really concerned with the fact that their kids are going to be exposed to such teachings and learning in school. And Mr. Monpevi, I want to really go straight to you and then ask this particular question.
Yeah.
You are an old man.
A parent.
Yes. Yes. And then you've been in the system for a very long time.
That's right.
Let's go back to school. What are some of the things that we used to learn in school that have actually changed?
In terms of sex education or sexual education?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Selassie. Well, first and foremost, I think that I want to, on this issue, all right, I think that I want to thank the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for this time round coming out to tell Ghanaians what he thinks and what we should expect of him. As against 2018, when he had an interview with Al Jazeera.
But I'm going to that. Please, sorry, let me come in here.
Yes.
Don't you think it's because of the pressure from the public?
Well, even if it is the pressure from the public, the President has spoken, and therefore we can hold him to his word.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because when he did this interview with Al Jazeera 2018, he wasn't very categorical. You know, when this same question about sexuality, etc., that, you know, this sexuality thing, you know, pushes you into this G, B, was it?
The G8 group.
Lesbian, gay,
Yes.
bisexual,
Yeah.
transgender. So yeah, you know. So that is the whole thing. On that occasion, the president wasn't able to tell Ghanaians, or for that matter, the world, what we wanted to hear. At least he wasn't able to give us an answer.
Okay.
But recently in Kumasi, when he attended a church, St. Cypriot Anglican Church, he said that it will not be under his watch for this homosexuality thing will not happen under his watch. Just like former President Professor Mills. Yes, you know, Professor Mills said that Blessed Mary said it will never happen under his watch. So at least we know that now the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has spoken, you know. But to answer your question, I don't remember when we were in school whether from 6 years, from 6 to 9 years, from whatever age, where we thought sexual education or sexuality education or whatever you call it. You understand?
But on that angle, what's the difference? What's sexual education and what's sexuality education? What is it?
Yes. If you look at the curriculum, the curriculum thing that we're all talking about.
The new one? Or?
The new one that now being told that has not been approved, but all the same, it came out and everybody was talking about it. You and I know how the Christian Council, the charismatic churches were saying that this one is more of a comprehensive satanic education and all that. Yes, you know, and I believe that they just brought it into the public domain to test the waters. Oh yes.
How people react.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I believe.
And if a lot of people agree to the fact that it's okay, fine, it's good, then they do implement it.
Yes.
And if people, it's not good, then they wouldn't.
Exactly. If people hadn't commented with this anger and uproar, they will have pushed it in.
Okay.
You know, because I remember Dr. Prince Ama on one of the TV stations defending vehemently that it is a draft. You know, it has not gone to Parliament, and basically trying to say that the Ghana Education Service should have done some corrections before. Dr. Prince Ama is the boss of the National Council for Curriculum Assessment.
Okay.
So they are the ones working on these that we have, you understand? So basically he came to say that what we are all reading and upset about is not the final print.
So reading is the final print. If it's not there, why would it be on their website?
Exactly. So, very good. That's a very good question. So that's what I'm saying, that they brought it to test the waters.
Okay.
Now after bringing it out and testing the waters, and then all these Christian councils and Muslim mission, etc., being on them, they decided to probably just withdraw it. Now the question that you asked about the difference between sexual and sexuality, you know, if you go through, I don't know whether I'll be permitted to go through the model. I have the model over here on my phone.
Okay.
Now this is what I'm going to go through. I don't know whether this is what we all had until it was withdrawn.
Okay.
Now I'm looking at 6 to 9 years, 10 to 14 years, that's the early adolescents. I'm looking at the 15 to 19 years, the older adolescents. And then when you go down, you have the 20 to 24, that's the early young adulthood. That's those ones that we have probably entering our university from our
very senior high school.
It's very good. You know, and if you look through it very carefully, all right, there is a mixture of sexual and sexuality. I don't know whether it's intended to confuse us.
Yes, because that's what I want to get the meaning of what is sexual.
You see, if you look at it clearly, there are certain portions where they are actually truly talking about how to keep yourself neat.
Okay.
You know,
personal hygiene.
Personal hygiene.
Okay.
You know, when you're a woman and let's say you and a man meet, there's certain things that you should expect.
Okay.
You understand? So basically, there are certain parts that talk about, you know,
did this form the category that it has to start from the lower level or the senior high school level? Was that the category that I talked about? The fact that you need to start from the lower level, like the 4 to 6 or 4.
The 6 to 9.
Yeah, 6
to 9. Actually, like truly, you mentioned 4.
Okay.
Yes, but it looks like everybody now was looking at the 6 to 9.
The 6
because
to 9.
I mean, 4 years. What do they know?
Nothing.
Even 6 to 9. What do they know?
The mind is immature.
They are playing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a father. I've had kids before.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many they are anyway.
Lot of them.
Yes. And I can remember my kids when they were 4 years or 5 years.
Okay.
There's nothing else in their minds than playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agrodi, just playing.
Yes.
And in fact, when they go to kindergarten and nursery, they go there to play.
Okay.
So why will you go and be teaching this 6 to 9 years
How to
things
wear
that-
condoms.
Exactly.
I mean,
What was it?
It's
you know?
it's
And
the whole
Mr.
thing sounded
Mbappe-
something.
The whole thing is that the fear of the parents is with kids, whatever they see, whatever you teach them, whatever they know, they actually carry it with them. So if at this very early stage you start to teach them how to own their sexuality,
Yes.
how to make choices with sex and all that, like, wouldn't even be the fact, say, it will get to one point where people or kids or girls will start making babies at a very, very early age. Boys will start having sex at the very, very, very early stage.
Yes. It's one of the reasons why this big uproar,
Okay.
where instead of teaching these kids other things, you are trying to push this into their minds at this early age so that it stays their mind and then, starts polluting them. We've all seen the videos where these kids are, trying something. They actually do not. You realize that there's a video that I saw of a small boy trying to lie on a small girl, and they are just jumping on each other, like as if they were playing.
Yeah.
You realize that they don't know what they are doing.
And they've been forced to learn this.
Yes, be forced to learn this. Even when these kids are going to ask questions about sexuality or sex, they find it difficult to ask, But those trying to push this agenda, all right, sexual and sexuality agenda, know what they're about. It's just a small way of pushing things. Now, if you look at this model that I have, from 6 to 9, let's say module 2, section 1, personal hygiene, oral hygiene, like we spoke about. So these ones are normal hygiene.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had those ones in social studies.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you go further, personal hygiene 2, body hygiene, recognizing whether something is fair or unfair. You see where they start from.
Yeah.
And the reason why a lot of these churches came out, my thinking is that if you you have to put some interpretation to a lot of things in here.
Okay. Because it sounds so confusing.
Exactly. If you take it at the face value, all right, and you don't go deep into what they are trying to push into the kids, we'll be taken by surprise. And that is why the Christian councils, the Catholic bishop, where they have prominent people, went into it, read actually what these words mean, and then came out with such, in such an uproar. So going through, let me, for example, give you the, if you look through, they're always referring to gender. They hardly talk about male and female. You see it there, but they're always referring to gender. You and I know that now. You and I know that when normally they talk about, you go and fill a form, and they put sex over there, then you put male or female. Now gradually they are removing the sex and putting gender. Because now there are other things apart from male and female. And that is what they're trying to push into the minds of the people. Now,
is it going to help at all?
No, it's not going to help.
But on this note, if you're parents, do you have little children who are still in school, or if you have children, you're a parent anyway, and you are so much interested in whatever we're talking about, please do comment and let's read your comment live on the show, because this is something that we all have to fight against and also stop this thing from taking effect or taking root in our basic schools, so that our children do not go in and inculcate anything bad into their minds from that early stage. Okay, so we've been talking to a senior journalist who's also here helping us delve much into the discussion. So you were about making some point whilst I went into.
Thank you very much. I was just about to give you the definition of gender according to the World Health Organization. Now, if you look at the document, first of all, if you look at the document that came out, you find that there's a lot of the UNFPA, United Nations Food and Population Activities, in there, being sponsored by IPPF. So these population agencies are all part of it.
Okay.
So this whole thing is being pushed by the United Nations,
Okay.
where we have this World Health Organization and population. And the World Health Organization refers to, defines gender, refers to it as the socially constructed characteristics of women and men, such as norms, roles, and relationship of and between groups of women and men.
And characteristics.
Yes, between groups of women and men, the norms, roles, and relationship between groups of women and men. Now, when we talk about norms, you and I know what are norms, something that is usually typical and standard.
Yes.
Let's say when you are going and you see an elderly person and you greet the elderly person, that's a norm.
Yeah.
It's part of us.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that we do. Our role, a man knows his role, a woman knows his role in the home, isn't it?
Yes.
We all know that. But if you go to the things about relationship, and relationship talks about the way in which two or more people or things are connected, or the state of being connected.
Okay.
The state of being connected.
Being connected.
Now, when we are taking all these definitions, talking about all these definitions
into consideration,
we have to do them in the context of sexual or sexuality education, because that's what we're talking about.
Yes, yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's because norms and anything, etc., we all know what they are.
Okay.
But in the context of sexual and sexuality education, what is relationship?
Yeah.
So you look at relationship, and in actual it means the way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave towards each other.
Regard and behave
towards each other.
Wow, that's very, very confusing anyway.
And you go further, the concept of gender, maleness and female and femaleness. Don't I know that I'm a man?
You know.
Doesn't she know that she's a female?
She is.
So what is it? Maleness is the properties of a male, is sex, masculinity, sexuality, gender, and sex. So and it's so many things.
Yes.
And in this curriculum that we're doing, interpersonal relationship, refers to the association, connection, interaction, and bond between two or more people.
Okay.
There are many different types of relationship, family relationship, acquaintances, and a romantic relationship. So if you put all these things under the context of sexual and sexuality education, what are you trying to put into the minds of the people?
You're only trying to promote sex within the young people, which is very, very abysmal.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be so.
Yes. And I think that they could have done a better job if they really want to teach our kids about hygiene.
Okay. Yes.
And then they want to teach our kids about to looking after themselves very well.
Yeah.
Because they are growing.
Yeah.
So hygiene, health, and even with all those sex things, they should have done it better.
Yes.
But some of the terms and words that they used is what lifted the argument, and then the inquisitiveness of all these bodies like you and I and parents, and want to know more.
Yeah.
Now we've come out, want to know more, and luckily they have
Redrawn it.
Have they redrawn it?
Well, it's still in the system anyway. They say they have to lay it before Parliament.
Because what happens is that
approve it and constitute it to a CI before it can become a law.
What happens is that when these things come up and there's the uproar, then they just, because it's sponsored. I believe money has been paid.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, sister, they adopt her. Let's put it somewhere, let it cool small. But I believe,
and rejuvenate.
Yes, in this particular case, Ghanaians are watching.
Yeah.
This government or any government that comes that want to push things about sexuality and sexual education and all stereotyping. You know, if you look through what is stereotype, it is a mistaken idea or belief many people have about a thing or a group that is based upon how they look on the outside, which may be untrue or only partly true. Stereotyping. So if you are going to educate somebody under sexual or sexuality education, and you're going to talk about stereotyping, what are you going to tell the person? That look, this person that you see, don't look at the person this way because everybody is looking at the person this way. Try and understand the person. That's why they are talking about rights. All this, and there are so many rights and all those things in it, in this curriculum thing they're talking about. And so when they say, okay, they teach you about what stereotyping is, and maybe you see a bisexual or a lesbian, you know, a gay, a transgender, you know, then you think twice that, oh, okay, the world thinks that this person's like that, you know, but maybe he's not like that. So let me give him the benefit of the doubt. And so if you're giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, it means then gradually you're going to accept the way the person behaves. If you don't take it yourself, you join. So that is, you know, there are words that have been put in this curriculum that has put a fear of God into responsible parents and people who know our tradition and culture. That is why, because all these reverend ministers and the chapel, the churches cannot be mistaken.
Oh, yes.
They cannot be mistaken.
Yes.
The Muslim, they cannot be a mistake. Okay. So I think that the Ghana Education Service, and for that matter, the Ministry of Education, could just go and look at this thing very well, which I think they have done, and then maybe later come out with a better one for Ghanaians to vote for them, not this thing that they've done.
Okay, yes, so they have to go and look into it and bring out a better one for our children at school. We're going to go for a quick commercial break. We shall be right back after this. Please just stay.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of Awake purified drinking water, which comes in a uniquely designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake purified drinking water. One for life. For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
By TV, remember that the program is the comment show, and we've been dealing with the issue regarding to the introduction of the sexuality and sexual education into youth at a tender age. And now that the government has placed an embargo on that same thing that was placed on their website, and I think a lot of the clergy people and the Muslim community, everybody who matters most, has been talking to the issue. That's why there's been an eyes frozen on that subject. All right, so remember that the comment show is probably sponsored by Awake Natural Mineral Water coming in from Casa Precon. They say that a bottle that you buy, you contribute to the saving of a life at the Cardiothoracic Center. That's why they say Awake Natural Mineral Water, one for life. So keep on buying Awake Natural Mineral Water so that you can save life. Before we went for the commercial break, we were talking about the fact that what can we do to salvage our people and these children from this very mess that is being caused in their educational system. And I believe that Selassie will help us to delve into the second segment.
Yeah, Uncle Ransford, don't you think that our authorities have actually defended this so much to the extent that when they bring this sexuality education thing to schools, it will open minds of these children and then reduce probably teenage pregnancy rate, and then rather teach them how to become better people, or rather than making the mistakes that a whole lot of people have made in the past?
Yeah, thank you very much. That is also it's also part of the curriculum. In fact, if you look at, if you go through it very carefully, ages 15 to 19, where we have the older adolescents, right, where they talk about fertility, pregnancy-related issues, and childbirth.
Okay.
You know, right from the onset, I said that there's a mixture of like sex education,
and sexuality.
Good sex education and sexuality. And I think that the problem that most of us have is this thing related to the sexuality. Because if you go through, like the question that you asked is a very wonderful question, where kids are going to be, thought to learn more about their body.
Okay.
You understand your body. The fact that especially when you are at this age that I mentioned, the 15 to 19 older adolescents, you can get pregnant at any time. Basically, you start menstruating, and you can get, so if you're not very careful and you go and sleep with a guy, you don't protect yourself.
The risk of getting pregnant.
The risk of getting pregnant is there. So that's why you see they talk about condoms and other things. So those parts of the curriculum, Selassie, is good. Because when these pastors were all talking, I didn't hear anybody complaining about that.
But that is also part of the sexuality education.
Yes, so that is why, for me, I think that's why they have withdrawn it, and go to make sure that the parts that offend our culture, our tradition, our culture, and offend most Ghanaians will be looked into again. Luckily for us, this whether it's a committee, those who sit down and decide our curriculum thing, they have all these pastors and all these people there. On board, yes. So the Council for Curriculum Assessment cannot just sit down alone and decide to do whatever they want to do. But that's how come all these things came out. Yes, because the pastors and all these people who were on the board, came out to say that, look, what they're trying to do is not right. That's why. And so I believe that they being who they are, if they look at the curriculum and they realize that, okay, these ones are good ones because they're going to teach our kids, especially the girls. The girls mostly start these sexual practices early, and unfortunately, if
they're the ones who are even affected more.
They are affected because sometimes they get pregnant, they drop out of school and all that. And I think that we have to be doing things to empower our girl child. Because already everywhere, probably in this world, most of women are. I don't want to use the word marginalized, are not, treated well, and so if we empower them by educating them, it's better. So if they are going to teach them how to look after themselves very well, once they've reached that older adolescent age, if a guy is telling you this and is rapping you, you should know the difference between rapping and being serious, etc. But at the same time, you should have at the back of your mind that if he is able to rap you and you fall, and you're going to have sex, the consequences. If you don't want the consequences, there are condoms. That's why you saw some videos where people are being taught how to put on. There were so many videos around where girls are being taught how to put condom onto the man's penis. I say the way it is.
Yes. That's it. That's it, right?
You don't have to hide it. It's penis. So that they are being taught how to do it. And once they are taught how to do it, like probably what will happen over here, it's at the back of the mind. So the guys are talking to them. You realize that this guy wants to take you out. You are probably a virgin. The way the raps are, they are very thick and strong. You cannot resist it. So when you get there, you're going to do. They tell you, look, Kwabena, and Isaac, and Francis, let me put on a condom, because according to what I've learned,
I may get pregnant.
Yes, where I am, I may get pregnant. I don't think I can say that I'm ovulating. Or I've released the egg. If you touch me this way, I'll get pregnant.
Even aside,
and then aside of that, STDs as well, sexually transmitted diseases, and all that. Because if you look at the curriculum thing that they came out with, which they've taken back, there's a whole lot of education on STDs and HIVs, and yes, it's also there. So definitely, I saw some positives in it, but the negatives that blew the whole thing was the fear that our kids are being pushed towards, LGBT things. And that one, I think that is not part of our culture at all. We will not tolerate it. Yes, if it happens and that's what it is and they're going on demonstration, I'll go. I will join, yes. It's not political. It's not political.
Yes, it's not political.
Yes. Otherwise, there's some future in about 10 years, 20 years time, you see a man, a boy walking like a, this kind of, we don't want that here.
So talking about that facts and also trying to educate people on the sexually transmitted infections, health segment, Mariam Mangotiba is on standby today. She's talking about cervical cancer, things that you need to do to take yourself out of that trouble. So Mariam, take over to that.
Good morning and welcome once again to the health segment on the Comment Show. My name is Mariam Mangotiba and today I will be talking on the topic cervical cancer. Please note that viewer discretion is advised. Now, what is cervical cancer? Cervical cancer is an abnormal proliferation of the cells at the cervix of the uterus. Cervical cancer is mainly caused by the virus known as the human papilloma virus, or the HPV. However, there are other risk factors that can result to cervical cancer, and these risk factors include exposure to sexually transmitted infections, vaginal douche, multiple frequent use of intrauterine contraceptive devices, previous history of cancers, excessive alcohol intake, exposure to radiation, immunocompromised patients, as well as frequent abortions. Now, the manifestations of cervical cancer. The early stages of cervical cancer is asymptomatic. However, as the condition progresses, the patient manifests bleeding after sex, bleeding between menstrual period, bleeding after menopause, pain during sex, pelvic or abdominal pain that radiates from the buttocks to the legs, and also fever, weight loss, anemia, dizziness, headache, generalized body pains, and offensive vaginal discharges. Now, we'll come to the diagnostic investigations of cervical cancer, and these investigations include the pap smear test, cervical biopsy, pelvic examination, intravenous pyelography, colposcopy, cystoscopy, sigmoidoscopy, CT scan of the pelvic, and pelvic X-ray. Now, the surgeries that are being used to manage cervical cancer. The surgery being used to manage cervical cancer include the Wethams hysterectomy, which is a surgical removal of the whole uterus, the cervix, as well as the connective tissues, and also the upper part of the vagina, including the fallopian tubes and the ovaries. Other management also include the chemotherapy, which is mainly medications or drugs used to treat cancer patients, and also radiotherapy. Now, to all women and young ladies out there, we mostly advise you to avoid multiple sexual partners, and also to undertake the pap smear test at least every 3 years. We also advise you to avoid vaginal douching because you would be introducing harmful bacteria into the vagina. We also advise you to limit the intake of emergency contraceptives, and also ensure that there's complete treatment of sexually transmitted infections. And also, we encourage all young women and ladies out there that after using the lavatory, the best way to clean yourself is to clean from front to back and not from back to front, because you will be introducing harmful bacteria into the vagina. Thank you for watching the health segment on the comment show. I will now hand over to Selassie and Siddiq.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of awake, purified drinking water, which comes in a uniquely designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake, purified drinking water. One for life. For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
So you heard it all from Mario Mangotiba, who is a health professional here talking about cervical cancer. So that so do prevent yourself from having that cervical cancer, because I understand that if you sleep with different men for several times, you are likely to have cervical cancer. Anyway, we don't intend having that. But do you have any take on the cervical cancer?
Yes, I think, just like you just said, if you're a woman and you sleep with too many men,
Yeah.
you know, you're definitely going to get it.
Okay.
You know, because I mean, the fluid coming from all other men, and all this being pumped into you, the different diseases here and there. You know, it's obviously
and it's likely that you're able to track this STIs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
yes, you know, and I think that the good thing about if I say the good thing about cervical cancer is the fact that if you are able to detect it early and go to the hospital, they're able to sort it out out for you. I remember going to, I don't know whether if I mention the hospital's name, I might be promoting it, but going to one hospital where they had this display. It's all about cervical cancer. Some, and they're teaching the women what to do. You know, there's what we call the smear something. They just put something, just smear, put it inside there. Take some in the inside there. You know what I mean?
Yes. Right.
And then you take it to the hospital. And then they do all manner of
classes.
They do all manner of laboratory checks, etc. And if you have it or you're getting it, they just sort it out for you.
Okay, so Mr. Mompewi, I want us to actually move away from the comprehensive sexuality education, but finally, your final comments on the comprehensive sexuality education.
Yes, my final comment, thank you very much, Celeste. My final comment is that parents, and it's something that the government wanted to introduce. When you elect a government when you elect a party into government, whatever it is, they come up with their policies, all right? They come and sell their policies. This is what we also come to do. The government came out, or they tried to come up with this sexual or sexuality curriculum thing, and then Ghanaians rose up against it. The government has seen that the Ghanaians rose against it, and they've probably withdrawn it. You know, I hope that they will go and sit down and do a better job of assessing the curriculum, and then all the portions that have things to do with our tradition and culture, you know, because if Ghanaians, if we are not very careful, some people's tradition and culture will overtake ours, and
especially the Western culture.
Yes,
taking over the
I don't want to give you.
Yes,
I don't want to give you examples. Look, Ghanaians, think of Australia. Who were in Australia? The Aborigines.
Yeah.
What is happening to them now? Basically, if you go to Australia and New Zealand, they are almost non-existent. I like watching movies, documentaries. Yes, and if you go watch a documentary on Australia or the Aborigines, and you see them wearing those tattered clothes for all these years, it's been taken over by the whites and introduced their culture, and therefore it's killing the culture of the indigenes. You understand? If you talk about America, you know about the Red Indians. When we were younger, we were watching American Red Indians, etc. Where are they? You know, America is full of different cultures.
Yeah.
You don't even hear of the Red Indians.
Of the system.
Yes, and they can use the fact that you're bringing down your tradition and culture to finish you up. So we shouldn't allow the little that we have, tradition and culture, to be taken away. Our tradition and culture is very nice. Very rich. Even the whites who are trying to push this, when they see it, they love it. You know, they probably will tell you they love it, but behind the scene, they want to spoil you. Yes. They have always want to hurt Africa. Anytime they get a chance, they will just. I don't know whether you've watched a recent video of a South African company that said that they were vaccinating people in South Africa and deliberately pumping HIV into them. Oh yes. 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 So that tells you that these people have this
intentions
of destroying the black race.
They have an agenda.
You know, and they're finding several ways and means to do it. And one of them is when you introduce this sexuality thing, and this LGBT thing comes over there, and you and I know what now. Women are marrying women.
Yes.
Men are marrying men. Transsexual, bisexual, because you don't know whether the person is a man or a woman.
Yes.
Transgender, the same thing. And now we even have what we call transsexual. The transsexual is where the person who cannot identify himself as a man or a woman, you know, now wants to change his sexual organ, the genitals.
Okay.
Change things on the face. You know, most of the time, the face of a woman, the lips, etc., are a little bit different from that of a man.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's a man and you have a very thick face like a man, then normally they use these medical things. They go to them. They want to change the lips If it is thick, they want to make it slimmer or lighter. You know, those kind of things. So somebody who was a man now looks like a woman.
I recently watched a video
Of the man who was crying because, okay, I don't know what we were going to talk about. There was a talk show which is out there. I had a video where this gentleman, the talk host, had invited a man, the man and his son. And when the son came, looks like a woman. And the man cried throughout the program. That's a white guy.
With the one I even watched, they've done the liposuctions and all that, surgeries, plastic surgery and all that. And he was a man, but he actually wants to take off his penis, but not put his vagina, but like he just wants to live without sexual organ. And then he's already started with his face.
They'll do it. Once you have this medical assistance, they will do everything.
With the plastic surgery.
They will do everything. The plastic surgery will do everything.
As
you know.
Well, they have money, that's right.
Yes, they have money. Sometimes they have money.
They always do
yes.
that.
So to answer your question, I think that I'm happy that the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, in fact, if you look at the age groups that they were using, the 4 age groups that they were using, they all fall under, most of them fall under the Ghana Education Service.
Okay.
You know, because by that time when we are senior high school, you know, you all fall under, it's only when you get to the university that you fall under the national tertiary education and all that, you know. And so I'm happy that it's been withdrawn. Okay. It's going to be looked at again. And it's for, let's, I think that the government has listened. They've done very well to listen to the outcry of the people, and they've withdrawn it. Let's see what comes out of it. Okay. We hope that whatever comes out of it will be acceptable to Ghanaians.
Okay. Oh, okay, so if you're still watching, it's the comment show, and then we're moving away a bit from sexuality education. We want to talk about the recent videos and documentary which was actually published by BBC, and according to them, some academic institutions here in West Africa are probably facing allegations of sexual harassment by lecturers, and then BBC produced a documentary dubbed Sex for Grades. Is what we're going to be talking about now. So, Mr. Mompebi, I'm sure you've watched a couple of the videos, you've heard a whole lot of them. What is the general overview on Sex with the Grade documentary? Sex for Grade, sorry.
Thank you very much again. I've watched the documentary, and I think that we have the University of Ghana, and then we have the Lagos, Nigerian one, yes. The Ghana one, the University of Ghana, we had Professor Jampo, and then one Dr. Butako of the College of Education at the university, and then the Lagos one is, you know, I don't know what to say. I don't know whether you want me to analyze the video, because I can go ahead to analyze, because I don't want it to sound as if I am going to defend any of them.
Okay.
But first and foremost,
like, look at it from the journalistic eye. Yes. I mean, how the video was made. I mean,
entrapment.
Yes. So
entrapment.
Was it a professional journalistic work that was set in there, or it was something that was done to tarnish the image of these lectures that we have in West Africa or Africa as a whole? Because I understand that these things do take place in the Western world as well, but we've not seen documentary on those universities that we have at the Western world. Why is it they always want to target the African universities and try to put their names to gadgets? Why do they want to drag their names into gadgets?
What you have to know is that they always want to push Africa down. You know, they always want. If you look at the trading in everything that they do, they want to push Africa down.
Mr. Mompebi, with that being said, that they want to drag Africans' name in the mud or something, for Sex for Grade thing actually happens. It's going on.
Yes. It happens everywhere. Like
sex for grades happens. I mean,
high schools.
We have even in senior high schools. You know, recently in one of my daughter's school, we had an occasion where there was this PTA meeting, and then the headmistress told us that some of the teachers had to be suspended and transferred. That is, I'm talking about senior high school. You know, so it happens there. It's a very serious thing. As for the universities, it's
on a high level.
It's terrible because when you get to the universities, the ladies are on their own. You know, they can go out at any time, etc. Even with the senior high school, they cannot. Even that, the male teachers are harassing them We all know of the stool thing.
The kitchen stool.
You know, but the kitchen stool. Right? And let me take the opportunity to
center stage.
Yes, let me take the opportunity to advise the girls, especially the girl students in the senior high school. Look, if a male teacher is doing that to you and giving you good grades to show to your parents on your terminal report, let's say instead of getting E, the teacher will give you C, and you think that so you should be happy, you shouldn't. Because when it comes to the most important thing, which is the WASI, it is not the teacher who will mark it.
Yeah.
So you could get A, B, B, etc. With the terminal report. You come and show to a parent like me, terminal exams, and I'm happy. Meanwhile, you are not learning. Or what you are gaining those nice grades because you are sleeping with the teachers. The WASI results will expose you. So instead of sleeping with the teachers for them to give you B, C, A, etc., learn so that the WASI results will also expose you to give very good grades. Going to sleep with a teacher to get A, B, etc., to come and show to your parents for them to happy is not the right thing. Don't sleep with the teachers. You understand? At the tertiary level, unfortunately, it is there. Unfortunately, blame and tarnishing the image of innocent people because it's out there that, it happens. If you go everywhere, Central University, University of Ghana, KNUST, Cape Coast University, the private universities, everywhere, we all know that happens. I mean, me myself, I've seen so before. Not that I've seen the sex taking place, but I've seen situations where you see the ladies and the lecturers, as soon as they finish, as soon as they finish, then the lady is there to help the lecturer collecting the lecturer's books, all those things. We the men behind, we know what is going on. We know they're enticing the lecturers. So the lady should stop enticing the lecturers.
These are flamboyant
tricks. Yes, and I'm happy. I think one of the departments at the university, I understand they've pasted a warning that the lady should dress very well, appropriately. Otherwise, they don't allow them to attend lectures. We have sometimes when you go to the university. Recently, I went there just to see my boy, see the dressing of the girls. But that doesn't mean that you should go and touch them. The fact that you are dressed that way doesn't mean that a man should go and touch them. It's none of your business if the lady has dressed and is showing whatever it is. It's none of your business.
But the man's eye.
Look and go. If your eyes, you should be able to control. It's difficult. You should be able to control yourself because that is why if you don't control yourself and you go and touch, you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble. And sex for grades, sex for jobs, sex for things is happening in workplaces. Sure. When you go there, you see a man. In workplaces, people see even women with rings on their fingers, and then a man will go and then you go and touch the waist of the man, of the woman.
Yes, which is wrong.
Sometimes they don't want to complain because they feel shy. Yeah. They don't want to embarrass you. But it is wrong.
For a married person,
that is what we call sexual harassment. It is wrong.
But Uncle Ransford,
yes, madam.
With this particular sex for grades thing, I actually had an opportunity to watch one interview. A reverend was on, and then he spoke about the fact that parents do not really have good relationship with their children. For them to walk up to them and tell them, this is what I'm going through, this is what is wrong, especially with the women. For the men, I think they are a little bit okay. I don't know if some of the guys have also been sleeping with the female lecturers for grades.
The lecturer might see you and like how you look, your presentation, your physical appearance, and she might fall in love with your physical appearance.
Yes, you mean a female lecturer?
Yes.
Oh yes, it was also mentioned that sometimes the female lecturers also give scholarship to the guys.
Yes.
So,
but that is not too serious, is it?
Yeah, it isn't too serious.
I understand students, the male students like it.
Yes.
I feel for the women because I'm sure a whole lot of them have had to go through that process where some even commit suicide and all that, go through trauma and all that. But finally, what advice?
Now let me answer your question before you go to finally.
As a father,
yes.
What relationship do you think parents should actually have? How do you go about that? The relationship with parents and children. How far should it go?
Yes, it should go. It's a very important thing. It is very, very important. I know that a lot of parents have this difficulty in talking to their children when it comes to things about sex. It's a difficult thing. I'm a parent myself. It's a very difficult thing, But no matter how difficult it is, parents, especially the fathers. You know, the fathers, we are able to talk to our daughters in a very nice way. The daughters are somehow pay attention to listen to us, the fathers. We shouldn't leave it to only the mothers to do only the talking. You know, sometimes you realize that the mother is talking or is very much concerned about the son, and then the father should be about the daughter. But basically, if we can, not if we can, we should be able to talk to our daughters. You know, tell them about the stages that they have reached, what it means, the sexual stage that they've reached. You know, the stages of life where they've reached, what it means if they, you know, go have sex that is unprotected, whether it is protected. I mean, the stage is what it can lead to, you know, because there will be a point in time where the body itself will be probably requesting or pushing for sex, because it's part of life. You know, the hormones that we have in our body sometimes push us to do that. But whilst you want to do that, they should be aware of the consequences.
Doing it with caution.
Do it with caution, you know. And apart from getting pregnant, which can affect your education, sexually transmitted diseases are dangerous. You know, they are dangerous because it can cause barrenness, some of them.
Okay.
You know, I've read somewhere where this gonorrhea and syphilis really cause barrenness. You understand? You know, so you should be able to tell your kids, especially your girl child, all these things. It's a difficult thing, parents, and maybe I should look into the camera and tell the parents that you know, it's a very difficult thing to sit your girl child down and talk to her in a sex, you know, educate her with sex and that kind of. See, I'm even finding it difficult to say it, you know, but we should muster the courage from wherever, you know, and talk to them. And after you've spoken to them, let them know that you, the father, you are there for them. If somehow they make a mistake, or they don't even make a mistake, or they're going to do something, and they are not sure, they can call you. Mobile phone is from here. If I'm in Tamale, you can call you and talk to daddy. This is what somebody has told me. He said, "What should I do?" You know, at least, you know. So you should also be there for your kids. Let them know that I can always come to their daddy. You know, they want, and if you let them feel that freedom, they will come. You know, you and your children should be like friends. You know, this father and son.
Should create that rapport.
Yes, this father and son, father and daughter relationship. Sometimes when they grow, you should be friends, so that you talk to each other, you listen to each other, etc. Nowadays, when I'm talking, my son now thinks that because he has gotten to a certain stage, he's now correcting me here and there, and I take it in good stead, because look, he is modern. He's using modern gadgets.
Yeah.
He's doing modern research,
Yeah.
and all that. You understand? And so probably, for all you know, he's ahead of me in certain things.
Okay.
You know, after he's been able to batter me to the left and I've given up, then I go and do my research. I said, okay, he was right. You understand? That is how you should do with your kids.
Okay.
This master son, master servant thing that we have with our kids when they were young, at a certain point we should put a stop to it. Okay. So, parents, father and mother, love your kids, and one of the best ways to love them is to be there for them anytime they want you. Be there for them and talk to them. Hold them, even when they have made a mistake. Hold them close to you and say, "Look, it is bad, but you can come. We can overcome it." And then you sit down and decide how you're going to solve problems here and there. If you do that, I can assure you, father, mother, I can assure you that anytime there's anything wrong with any of your kids, they'll come to you, and they'll grow up to become very good kids in this world. Thank you.
You've said it all, and you've heard it right here on the comment show. It's been a wonderful time, and also having our ex-Broker journalist joining us here on the show to talk about this very pertinent issue that has always been boggling the minds of most parents in their various homes, with the introduction of this sexuality educational something into our curriculum. We've come to the end of another beautiful, engaging, educative, and very informative show called The Comment Show. We will have your pleasure, and we'll always have your pleasure once you join us here on Twilight TV. I happen to be in the midst of two CEOs, Mr. Albert Mensah Lankwe, who is the CEO of Twilight TV, and also Miss Christopher Hanselman, he's the CEO of Headway Educational Consult. More big ups to you, and may God increase you and lift his light upon your face, and may he shower his blessings upon you. I always say that until the hunters become their own historians, the tales of hunting will always glorify the hunter. My name is Sadiq Awokar, and I've always been here with.
Sexuality Kids is my name, and then sure Sadiq has said it all. We've come to the end of another amazing educative program. We've come to its end, and personally I have learned a lot from Mr. Amon of Heavy Ransford. He was once my teacher. He will always be my teacher, and I'm sure he's an amazing father. To Uncle Ransford's kids out there, you guys are really, really lucky. You're lucky to have a father like him. A very big thank you for watching the show, for taking your time, your resources and everything to watch the show. We say thank you so, so much. And then a very big thank you going out to our cameraman Ibrahim, our sound guy Kofi, and then our CEO himself, Mr. Albert. We say thank you so much. Catch you same time next week. It's a bye-bye for now.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of Awake purified drinking water, which comes in a uniquely designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake purified drinking water, one for life. For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.